Hey, my name's Katie. I've been an Instacart shopper for over 2 years. Instacart can be a great side hustle to make a whole lot of money in a short period of time. In this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know to get started making money with Instacart in 2023. I'm going to share some of the new features on the Instacart app. I am going to take you with me while I do a full day of shopping just so you can kind of see what it's like. And then I'm also going to give you a promo code so you are guaranteed earnings if you complete 30 batches in 30 days. These earnings are just batch pay earnings that Instacart pays out and do not even include your tips. This is probably going to be a long video, so I'm going to make sure that I put chapters down at the bottom so you can jump around and watch whatever section you're most interested in, or if you need to go back and watch a section that you've already watched, you can do that. So let's go do a day of shopping with me and see how much money we can make in one day.
Unfortunately, it's that way.
So I am just going to open up my Instacart shopper app and going to hit go online. And we're just going to sit here and wait for a good batch to pop up. So one of the new updates with this app is that previously you had to keep refreshing the screen for new batches to pop up, but now it will automatically let you know when a batch is available. You can kind of tell this at the bottom of the screen underneath the go offline. There's a bar that is running across the screen, and that's letting you know that it is refreshing continuously. Look, we have an order. It is $16 for 2 shop and deliver, which means you're shopping for 2 different people. It's 24 items going 7.5 miles. Honestly, that's just not good enough for me to take. And look, there's flowers and chocolates. I do not like shopping for those items. So I am not going to accept this order. So if you see an order that you definitely don't want, this is another new feature, is you can just swipe and hide that order so you don't have to see it. And that's really beneficial when there's a bunch of orders available, and you don't have to keep scrolling up and down the whole screen. There's not a lot of orders this morning, so it's not super helpful, but you can hide batches that you're not interested in now. If you do hide a batch and later Instacart decides to boost that order or the price changes at all, then it will put that order back on your screen so you can have another opportunity to take that order if it is better for you to take. Right now it's saying that there's a low demand at these stores, and so it kind of tells you how busy the area that you are in is. And if you can look at this map, we are really close to this Publix, and so it's letting us know that this Publix is not very busy. And then we are actually going to drive down to a different Publix down here, because I usually get pretty good orders at this Publix. Sometimes, even if it says that a store is not busy, I will still sit there and wait, because that kind of encourages other shoppers to leave that area. So it gives me more opportunity to get an order at that store. So if it's a store that I know usually gets pretty good orders, I tend to kind of just stay there and wait for a good order, because I might be the only shopper there at that point. So here is a shop only order at the store that I'm heading to. It's $8 for 26 items, which 26 items is a pretty big order. So I am not going to take this order. If it sits there for a while though, sometimes Instacart will boost the order and the payout will be better. So I am going to wait and see if maybe they boosted this order. I've gotten to the store that I wanted to be at, and as you can see, there are actually 3 stores here. There's a Dollar General, a 7-Eleven, and a Publix, and so each of these circles let me know that I am in a good spot. So this is an order for $23. It's 2 shop and deliver. It's 39 items and 57 units, which is a pretty big order, going 4.5 miles. So right now I am not going to take that order, and somebody else did anyway. So this is saying that there's low demand at all of these stores, but I still think that there's going to be plenty of orders because we've already gotten 2 orders at this store just in the last 3 minutes. So I just took this $57 order. It is shopping for 3 people, but 2 of the people only got a few items, and then one person got 25 items. So I don't usually like to take 3 shop orders, but it was $57, and it's basic stuff. So we're gonna run in here and go do this. I generally like to head over to the produce section first. It can be the most time consuming because sometimes you do have to weigh your produce. This order didn't have any produce that needed to be weighed. Everything that they got was pre-packaged produce. So for these grapes, you scan them and you say, yes, they are pre-packaged. And then you put how many packages, and then you will put the weight. And the weight is found on the container. It's already labeled for you, so you don't have to weigh them. If I did have produce that I needed to weigh, usually before I hit start shopping, I will gather up several of those items and have them ready in my cart for when I hit start shopping. I can weigh them all at the same time, and that'll increase my speed because shopping speed does matter in the batches that you have available to you. Instacart does like for your shopping speed to be quick. So now that we got all the produce done, I'm going to go into the middle part of the grocery store for the shelf-stable items. This is Dole peaches. They want 6 of them, and you can kind of see down at the bottom it says the location. It'll give you the aisle number, where they are located, and it just really makes finding them a lot easier. So once I find them, I scan the barcode, and I will count and make sure there are actually 6 available and put them in my cart before I type in a number, because if you only find 5, then you can type in 5 of 6, and that's okay. But I found all 6, so I typed in 6 and I put it back in my cart. And now I'm going to go to aisle 9 to find all the nuts. That there's several different types of nuts that different customers wanted. You can see that customer B and then also customer C wanted nuts. And just like a side note, those waters I'm saving till the very end because they will make your cart very heavy. So I'm just waiting till the end to do the water. So there are lots of different types of nuts available. Sometimes it might take you a minute to find exactly what you're looking for. I know it did me in this order. And then also you can see that customer B got some nuts and customer C got nuts. Make sure that you're keeping them divided in your cart and organized so you know whose stuff is customer A, B, C when you go to checkout. So here's a good example of something that happens if you scan the wrong item. It took me a second to find exactly what this person was looking for because there were so many different options, and when you scan and something pops up, it'll highlight it in blue that said lightly salted. And so I got the wrong item, but I did eventually find exactly what they were looking for. And then this screen will pop up when it is correct. So the next aisle is going to be aisle 11, but that is a frozen item. So we are going to skip that and come back to frozen last. I always try and shop the frozen at the very end of the order. So we're going to go over to aisle 13 and get these non-food items. So next I'm just going to scroll through and see what else I have left. Basically everything else is going to be cold. So I'm going to start grabbing cold stuff. Those Nutter Butter bars, it says dry grocery, and they almost always have like their own spot in the store, and it's not labeled, and it's usually really hard to find the Little Debbie stuff. So I'm going to be looking for that as I'm going back through the store and grabbing all of my cold items. If you'll notice down at the bottom after you scan an item, it'll tell you which order to group that item with. That way, it'll help you stay a little bit more organized. You can also see that there is a timer down at the bottom. It kind of just gives you a goal time and then lets you know where you are in that time frame. And it doesn't really matter, the time doesn't really matter, but the faster you are, the more opportunity you have to get good batches. But don't let that stress you out, especially at the beginning. I just kind of think it's a fun game to beat the timer, but it's definitely not something to stress about when you're first getting started. So now it's time to find these specialty cheeses, and this is probably one of my least favorite sections in the grocery store because it can be really hard to find specialty cheese. But I did end up finding this one pretty quickly because it's a pretty popular item. This ground beef was also pre-packaged, just like some of the produce was. So you just type in information about the packages and just put in the weight. So I finally found the Little Debbie snacks, but I did get the wrong size initially. So it popped up and said that they were looking for the big pack, and that's not what I got. So I looked a little bit harder and I was able to find the correct package. Next was the deli meat, and every store is a little bit different, but at the store I go to, which is Publix, they go ahead and have it all pre-cut for you. So you just head over to the deli pickup area and they have the customer's name on it. And just like with the produce and meat, they have the weight on it. So you just scan the item and type in the weight that is on the package. So this item was not available, so I had to check and see if there were any replacements that the customer requested. Sometimes the customers can request replacements if the item's not there, but this customer didn't put a replacement, so I'm going to go ahead and message them and see if they would like me to get something else for them. And she said no, that she would prefer a refund, so I am just going to refund that item. So even when you're doing a refund, the app is going to want you to do a replacement. So you're going to have to go through all of these options, possible replacements, but the customer did request a refund. So we're just going to go ahead and do that and refund the item. I am going to go ahead and get these popsicles before I get the water. The popsicles and the water are the only two items left, but those waters are really heavy since they got 4 cases. So I'm going to get the popsicles and then head straight to the water and then I will be ready to check out. So this is just letting me know that I was all done shopping for Kathy. I'm just going through and checking my cart and making sure that I've got everything where it needs to be for her order before I go to the checkout. And you can see up at the top how I can switch between people. So A is Kathy, then B is Nancy, and then C is Michael up at the top. So I checked Kathy, so now I'm just going to switch over, and the other small order was Michael, and I'm just going through and making sure that I have all of his stuff correctly in my buggy also. Now it's time for these heavy waters, and then I'm going to go check out. You can see down at the bottom, it took me 40 minutes to complete the order, which I feel like is pretty fast for shopping for 3 people. And this is just transitioning the batch over to checkout. And then it says repeat changes, everything's ready, and you just go to checkout and it'll transition the batch over, and you can start to check out each order individually. This is a new feature to the app, and every time that you check out with your debit card, it'll give you a new PIN number to type in when you swipe the card. So because this order was so big, I did not get the checkout recorded or the delivery, but I will do that on this next order that I get. So this next order is a lot smaller. It is just shopping for one person, and it's 16 items. So I'm just going to go through and kind of look over and see what the items are before I walk into the store and start shopping. And then you'll see down at the bottom, you can just hit start shopping when you're ready. It'll transition the batch. And then these shopping tips will pop up. They're different at every store, so you can just read through those before you start shopping. And then this popped up that the batch was modified, and it was just letting me know that the customer made a change. They just added one item, so not a big deal. So we're going to still accept the order. And then I'm just going to start shopping. I'm going to do the shelf stable items first, and then I'll go through and do the cold items. Now I'm going to move on to the soup. As you can see, they're located in aisle 3, and they're on the right side. Soups are another item that they are kind of hard to find just because there's so many of them, especially these Campbell soups where the front basically all looks the same. But I did eventually find all of the soups on the shelf. Next, we're going to aisle 6 for these delicious looking cookies. And then these graham crackers were on the same aisle. A lot of the items in this order were BOGO deals, so they got 2 of almost everything. After we got all the shelf stable stuff, we can move on to the cold and frozen items. So I'm just grabbing these pizzas last. And you can see down at the bottom, it took me 15 minutes to complete this order, and they projected it to take me 21 minutes. But now I just hit review changes down at the bottom. And I'm ready for checkout. And it's just letting me know that they will give me a unique PIN for every order. There's only one order in this batch though. I'm gonna have my debit card ready to pay. This store actually doesn't accept Apple Pay anymore. And then I just hit start checkout. At this store, Publix has you scan a QR code that is found up on the screen. So that is what I did here. And then you just, when you run your card, you hit debit and you type in your PIN number for this particular order, which is given on the app. And then you just hit no cash back. And then once the checkout is complete, you just hit done. And then you go ahead and load up your car. And when you get your car all loaded up, then you hit start delivery and the customer will be notified that you're on your way. Once you hit start delivery, you'll be notified of any notes. So like this customer wanted us to just leave the order at the door and to not ring the doorbell. So once we unload the groceries, we're just going to click leave at door. It's going to prompt you to take a picture of the order. So we're just taking a picture and then hit submit and complete delivery. So here's what I ended up making today. It was $158.82, and I actually got an additional $20 in cash tips. So that brings my total to $178.82. You can see these batch earnings were $42.38, and that's how much money Instacart is paying me. And then the $116.44 are my tips that I got in the app. So all of that will be filtered through Instacart though. And then it says my active hours were 4 hours and 4 minutes. So if you divide that 178 by 4, that ends up being $45 an hour. Now that's active time. That's from a moment I accept a batch until I deliver the last order. So that doesn't include my time like waiting around for an order. And then you can see these batches that I did. I ended up doing 4. I did one first thing this morning. That was that 3 full service order that I showed you. And then at 10, I took a really easy alcohol order that was just going right down the street. It was 1 item. And then that 11:30, we did that 17 item order. And then, I took a long lunch break, and I usually keep my phone on, but I won't sit at stores all day. And then I got another order popped up from my house at 5:43. And so that ended up being a really good order. That was the order that I ended up getting the additional $20 cash tip on. So if you think you're ready to sign up for Instacart and give it a try, the first thing that you're going to want to do is install the Instacart shopper app onto your phone. Once you get that installed, you're just going to type in your zip code and then fill out the information that it asks. It'll just ask for your name and your address and all of that information. So this is where you will add the referral code to guarantee your earnings. It varies by location, the amount that you're guaranteed, but in my location right now, it would be $450 for completing 30 batches in 30 days. And that's just batch pay. It doesn't even include the tips. So I would recommend taking as many small orders as you can and as many short distance orders as you can. And that way you're going to maximize that promo and really make a whole lot of money for doing a little bit of work. And plus, doing the small orders will really help you feel confident. By the time you get to the end of those 30 batches, you'll have an idea of how the app works, and you'll be feeling a lot more confident to take those bigger batches. Before you are approved to become an Instacart shopper, they will run a background check just to make sure that everything comes back safe. And that usually takes a day or two for it to come back. Before you start shopping, you are going to want to go through all of the trainings in the app. They have a really good training program where you can go through and do sample batches at home, and just like you're shopping in the store. So you will get to run through a batch without actually there being a customer on the other side. After you do these trainings and demo orders, there's going to be an option to do a training to be approved for several different things. One of those is to deliver alcohol, which I personally think you definitely want to do, because sometimes those alcohol orders are really good earning orders, because alcohol is really expensive. And if they do like a percentage tip, then you can get a really high tip on a really small order for delivering 1 or 2 items. You can also get approved to do prescriptions, which I did that approval process, but I've been doing Instacart for 2 years and I've never had to pick up a prescription before. So go ahead and do that, but I don't really think that that's super necessary. At least in my area, it doesn't seem to be very common. And then another thing you can get approved are cooler bags, and you do definitely want to do this. You want to have cooler bags anyway so that you can keep the customers' cold items cold. That will help you get better ratings. And I have in the description below linked my favorite cooler bags, and then like other items that I feel like are pretty essential. So the only thing you're waiting on after you do all that is to actually receive your Instacart debit card. And that can take up to like 2 or 3 weeks for it to come in the mail. That's how long it took mine. But there are some stores that accept Apple Pay or Google Pay. So you can go ahead and start shopping with Apple Pay or Google Pay before you even receive your physical debit card. Once you receive that physical debit card, you go ahead and activate it in the app, and then you're all clear to start shopping with that. Another great side hustle option is DoorDash. DoorDash is a lot more driving, but a lot less shopping. You would mostly be picking up orders from restaurants and delivering them to customers. If you want to see how we make money doing DoorDash, you can check out this video right here.